today in the jungle room. That's it. Or you can say macaw. Big blue bird in the jungle room. Macaw in the jungle room. How about I'll do it. Macaws in the jungle room. Today, next, don't move. Here, how'd I do? Welcome back to the Jungle Room, the world's most informative and entertaining exotic pet roundtable. I'm Michael Del Giorno, along with Mike Wedigan and Chris Jones, and we are literally in the jungle today. I hope you enjoyed today. This is our remote studio. I think I spot a killer bee or whatever those things are. What is
murder hornet.
A murder hornet. We think we had a murder hornet on the set earlier. We are so excited that you're joining us again for the Jungle Room. Be sure to share this on Facebook, on Twitter, on whatever you share things on. And expose as many people as possible. Our goal is very simple, and we do this every week. We love these creations of God. We want to expose them to you. I've often told you about my story with Eleanor, the chameleon, and how I fell in love with her. I never dreamt I could love a pet like I do a dog or a cat, but you can. And so every week we introduce you to these exotic pets. They make tremendous companions for families, tremendous members of families. In the case of a couple of ours today, they'll live longer, maybe, than your family. We've never had that happen yet, but that's a first. But we're just going to introduce you to different critters every week, and hope you fall in love with them. Hope you find the one that's right for your family and your lifestyle. Some of these make more sense for you than dogs if you're at work all day. Guys, today's preview. Chris, we'll start with you. Thoughts?
Well, we're going to talk a lot about parrots, the do's and don'ts, and the whys and why nots. They may be good or bad for your family. A lot of information that people don't know when you go and you look to purchase a bird for a pet. We're going to get down to that and really show you guys the difference between, knowing what you actually need to know compared to what you may be told from a pet store or a breeder when it comes to buying a pet bird.
Why don't you introduce us to Deborah and our macaw today?
Today we've got Deborah Dorsey, is a dear friend of ours. She runs
Gray Haven Exotics,
and today we've got her and her Hyacinth macaw with us.
Hi, pretty girl. Hi, pretty. You come to me. Hi, pretty girl. She likes me when she's not biting me. Nibbling, love nibbles. This particular bird, I want to start with, before we get into the ins and outs of birds in general, tell us her story, because it's a pretty amazing one and all too often a common one.
Exactly. Her story is we were her fourth owner in her first 5 years, which tends to happen a lot when people don't research these species and know their pros and cons. She belonged to a gentleman who had her in Japan. While she was there, she had a procedure done on her, which is considered an abusive procedure here, where they cauterized her wing feathers. She cannot fly ever again, which is maiming.
Now, is that similar to like something we would never do, but we have cats, and some people declaw the cats, which they'll do it to the knuckle. Or I think it's even more cruel for this, right? What I mean,
a cat can still function.
Right.
A cat can walk and do its thing.
But she senses.
But she can never fly, and that is the main thing a bird does, is flies.
Fight or flight, right?
Right.
So that's her story, but the best thing God did was brought her into your life. And so now she lives a very spoiled life.
Unfortunately, yes.
You'd probably even fly for her, wouldn't you?
Well, she goes everywhere with us. She has a backpack. She goes hiking. She has a trailer. She goes biking. She loves people. Yeah. So whenever she's out with people, she's happy.
Earlier we arrived. We came in the house before we were out here on the set, and you could not believe how excited she was to see all the people.
Dancing.
And she started dancing and moving. She's very social. Now, is that something that's like it's all how you treat them, right? So
a lot has to do with socialization. She's used from the very beginning of being out in public.
Right.
And again, she's happiest. And I think the not being able to fly has a lot to do with it. But she has had some good owners and some not so good owners through her life.
She's got a great one now. This is not common, by the way, that a bird would just take to a complete stranger, but we have bonded. You must admit, she probably likes me more than any other stranger you've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does she treat everyone this kind?
We'll go with it.
I'm just happy she came to me. Well, guys, let's do all the who, what, where, when, like you always do. So we'll start with who these pets make sense for and who they don't make sense for. We'll kind of go through the big general topics, then we'll get to lifespan and diet and I guess recreation and fellowship and all that. So
yeah. So the biggest thing, as with some of the other animals that we deal with, is this pet going to be good for your household? You were saying that you're the fourth owner. This is a gorgeous bird. So can you explain to us a little bit why, somebody would spend the money that they would spend on this and then give it up?
Mostly because they didn't find out the cons that the species had. She's a very, very destructive. Destructive pet.
Pretty girl, not destructive.
She can take a kitchen utensil and just basically just destroy it. Just that's what their goal in life is taking wood and just chomping it. She could take out furniture.
Wow, that didn't take long.
No.
So like, let's say she was out. No, she won't eat that, will she?
No.
Oh. So she was outside of her cage or something, and you got a phone call, and you turned your back.
Seconds.
Something could be gone, right?
A kitchen chair, a wall. Anything like that. And people see a bird like this, oh my God, I've always wanted one.
Right.
And then they don't know what she's capable of. I mean, she has a cage at my house the size of a room.
Wow.
Stainless steel. And it's enforced, and she's happy in it because I have so many things in it.
But if she's out, you got to pay attention.
She's out. Yes, definitely.
What other cons that people don't see coming? The amount of chatter, right?
The noise.
Yeah.
The noise. When she lets out a squawk, it is so loud and can be so ear piercing.
Go to mommy. See, every now and then I get a little peck. What is that all about?
She's bored.
She has certain expressions that she'll say literally.
She does. She speaks a lot, and that's one of the things that people they think they want a talking bird. But what if they don't talk?
Pretty girl. Pretty sexy. Pretty girl.
In 6 months you get rid of it.
What's she says peekaboo over and over again?
Peekaboo. Peekaboo. I can't even say it that fast.
The peekaboo, 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 peekaboo. That's
good.
cute for a second, right? But imagine that that's your entire morning.
Every morning, 5 a.m.
Will they do voices or?
She's not as good at talking as some of the species. She's more of...
Like an African gray, it's very important that you use
the
proper language all the time.
And don't say secrets out loud.
Well, it's worse than that. It's they speak in, what will be the word? They're in logic. So like if you say a certain thing every time somebody fumbles a football, and then you got friends over and somebody fumbles...
They will say that word.
They will say that word, and if it's about that individual, if you talk about your boss all the way and then Jim walks in, they're gonna. But I don't think with the cause that's the case, right?
They're not as eloquent as some of them.
Yeah.
So.
Let's get into where would reputable breeder, I'm sure, but should people get a macaw? I know that your heart's in rescue in some cases, and it should be all of ours. But both avenues.
Some cases rescue, but I'm a promoter of adopt and shop. It's what's best for your family. She comes with some baggage. Every bird comes with baggage. Some of them don't like men. Some of them, don't like women.
Based on what somebody did to them, maybe, or
yes and no.
Okay.
Depending on how they were socialized. We have a boarder in at Gray Haven right now that is a woman's bird for 24 years. She's been owned by that woman, and you can't find a new home with a man now because she's totally a woman's bird, so that kind of is something they learn.
That is very interesting, yeah.
But it's, some people want the baby. They want the baby to form with their family and stuff like that, but then again, you can get a 10-year-old bird from a rescue that has had a background similar to yours, and it's perfect.
Perfect.
It's perfect.
So do both is the actual answer.
She was 5 when she came to me.
And you might want to break the news to them on lifespan because...
I was about to ask her, how long do they live?
Taken care of well...
Human potential.
Yeah.
So...
60 to 80 is what they say, right?
With her being 8 years old, if things go well, she will outlive me. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And so that's something, there's so many things, if you're interested in a parrot, which is usually long-lived, that's just one of the things you have to take into consideration is the longevity. And so, you know, a lot of people don't think about that. You're 40, 50 years old and you run out and get a bird because you can finally afford it. And then, you know, you kick off in 10 years and where's that bird going to go?
Right.
So with a long-lived animal like this, I guess it really has a lot to do with how you care for it, but also diet. Is diet...
Diet is extremely important. Every species has requirements. This species right here is one of the pickiest eaters of all the macaws. I mean, she gets every morning, she gets papaya and coconut and toast and all these fruits and vegetables and stuff.
It's like a Jackdaw resort.
She picks through it, but she's not a big eater. So her main diet is nuts.
Actually, do we want to do one? This is the hardest nut that they make.
This is the macadamia nut.
The macadamia.
Right,
Let's watch how quickly she can get through this.
Very, very hard.
Now, these are more like snacks, right, for her? Or?
She gets about 6 of these a day.
Oh,
wow. I mean,
just like that.
Nothing.
I'm on the back end of the bird. I missed it.
Absolutely nothing. You have no idea how meticulous she just did that. Wow.
You see that weird tongue. You see the stripe on her tongue?
And what's going on with that?
That's just the way she is. She has that little stripe.
That's cool.
But she uses that tongue like an appendage. She actually...
She can grip and...
Oh, yeah.
So they don't all have that stripe on the tongue?
No. No. So
I mean, the way she's working that nut out, well, she's a pro, right? Look at her. She likes those.
Of course, she's leaving them.
No, that's
a bar now.
Does she pick up the pieces?
Actually,
like,
I just watched. Her tongue can grip something.
The little pieces that are left, does she go after those?
It depends on
just...
if she thinks I've got another one. If she thinks I've got another one, she'll leave all that.
Then she'll leave that and go wait for the big one.
Messiness is probably something. Well, I think you alluded to the cage side. If people are thinking a cage size like in their kitchen, no, not for something this big.
Yeah, you can't get a cage that, I mean, look at this tail, you know.
Right.
People think, oh, a 3 foot by 4 foot cage. No.
It's not,
you know, and how long is that bird going to be in the cage? Right. I have a room size cage because she's in it a lot.
And how often do you clean the cage?
Well, mine I have shavings in.
Okay.
So, you know, I kind of spot clean it every day. But her nighttime cage is about 5 foot by 4 foot. Wow. Stainless steel.
And we didn't even cover that. Are they sleep at night? Are they?
Birds are big on sleeping, and so 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the evening.
She's out.
She's out because I'm up at 5 in the morning.
So will they adapt more to your sleep pattern, or they create their own? Or?
Tattoos
you want
maybe have a
about
taste.
12 hours sleep. 12 hours sleep for them. That seems to.
Veterinary costs.
Huh?
Luckily, not much for her, but
they can be though.
You have to have that money set back because to walk in, anybody knows that. You walk into a vet's door, it's going to be $500.
Right.
You know, and you also, that's another thing.
Specialized
Thank
vets
you for
too.
bringing that up. Yeah, avian vets are not horse vets.
Right.
They specialize, and before you ever bring home something like this, you need to make sure that you have a vet lined up, that you visited that vet, that you feel comfortable, and then you take the bird immediately for a healthy check to make sure everything's healthy.
As soon as you get the bird, take it straight
As soon as you get the bird.
Okay. And supply-wise, just pretty much between a normal pet store, or do you get stuff online, or?
You know, honestly, the bird business is, you can buy a $40 toy that will be destroyed in
40
10
seconds.
Not even 40 seconds. Yeah. I mean, people bemoan that all the time.
I think I'd be buying with the spatulas.
This is exactly what we do. We go to thrift stores and we pick up stuff like this for a dime.
So that's a toy for her, right? She will enjoy just destroying that.
We hang them on rawhide, and she plays with them. And then we'll get phone books. Oh, phone books. Oh my gosh.
Now what does she do with the phone book?
Destroys it.
Just destroy it?
Just page by page.
It takes her the longest to get through the J's with all the Jones.
Does she just kind of go and then turn? Yes.
That's right.
Give me a call. Right. Oh, that's so adorable.
I'm really big on homemade toys. You can go to Home Depot and get non-pressurized wood, just chunks of wood, hang them on a chain.
That's it.
There's a toy.
Right.
You know, just something to do. And she's so intelligent. She's got to stay busy.
You might want to get into climate where their origin is. And
these guys originate from South America, correct?
Correct.
And in the wild, I had a question about, obviously they're chewing everything apart in your house. In the wild, are they doing just as much of that, or is
They
it a
would
lot
be
more
in the trees. They would be in the trees.
hanging out, flying around?
Right, foraging, exactly. Doing branches, doing leaves, and flying, of course, which is a big part of their day.
Oh, they're beautiful.
It is. Yeah, I have a few others that do.
Do
fly.
you notice that we have instances like I'm trying to think of the Disney movie? Was it Rio?
Rio.
Something like that, and then people start going out and buying them, and then
just like 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
They run out. Oh, what a real bird! But these are kind of like the Cadillac.
Yeah.
Right here.
Of a parrot, of the
parrot
parrot world.
There are several.
We've talked a lot about her cons. Talk about the pros. Like, what does she mean to you, and the closeness that you? Yeah.
Don't get me all teary. I mean, look at her.
Yeah.
Look at her. She
awesome.
totally trusts me.
Yeah.
Totally trusts me. She'll be up here and she'll take my nose in her beak and just do this. She could take it off. She could take a finger off.
And won't.
In one bite. And she's so trusting. And, she pinches sometimes. But, she knows. She knows who feeds her.
That's right. She knows who has the nuts.
That's right.
Oh, edit that one. She knows it. She's absolutely gorgeous.
But she's also so personable that I have no fear that if something happens to me or I kick off or something, she's going to take up with somebody else. She's just a people person.
Yeah, no, she's very
really
sociable.
is.
Now, what would be a normal day with her? Do you like if you felt like it, go outside and have coffee with her? Or?
Our house is somewhat of a macaw-oriented house, and so she has her room. She lives with another one in the room-size cage, and then she comes out of her sleep cage about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. We have a hanging contraption in the kitchen, and she hangs there and hangs out.
She hangs out in the kitchen, literally.
She hangs out in the kitchen and plays for a while in there, or she goes down to the boarding area with me and checks out all the boarders and hangs out down there.
And she loves people, so when people come to visit, that's a highlight, I would think, for her.
Yeah.
I had a chameleon, and they don't believe me, but she loved hockey. She loved the Predators, Eleanor. And she would cross the cage and sit and watch the whole hockey game. When the hockey game was over, and she'd look at me every now and then when something good was happening. When the game was over, does she have any, things like that? Does she ever watch TV, or do you notice anything? Basically just people and her friend?
TV stays on with her. She loves, I'll go down and get the mail, and anything that's junk mail, hand it to her.
Oh, she can just
and she just destroys it.
Can you do that with phone calls?
Oh.
What do they call those calls that they can't? Robocalls or whatever.
Robocalls.
Get her to shred those. Summary on the macaw. The good, the bad, everything. I think they're one of God's most gorgeous creations.
I wouldn't advise them as a first bird to anyone. Some people could possibly do it. I would work up to this kind of size. I would make sure that you have researched enough and realized that you can't get a cage that's too big, no matter what. Diet is incredibly important, and a good avian vet is huge.
Deborah,
attention.
And attention.
Oh, yeah. Be ready to spend a lot. You can't put them in their cage and expect the bird to stay like this. You've got to continually. She's every day.
So if you're not home regularly, if you run a 9 to 5 and you're not home, this isn't a pet for you, is it?
There's a lot of people that do. That get up in the morning and attention to them then, and then they're have a good atmosphere for them while they're at work, and then they come home and they interact with them more. So it can be done. So I wouldn't say it couldn't, but keep it in mind that the more attention, the better.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember I was thinking about getting an African gray named Jenny, and the lady made me promise I would read this book before I made the purchase, and I'm so glad she did, because Jenny just wouldn't have been the African.
Family.
Yeah, well, the African grays at the time I was single, and you got to take them to work so they know where you're at. I mean, they're that smart, and they're wondering where you're at all day, so it helps ease their anxiety if you take them to work. You do have to watch a lot of what you say.
That brings.
So get you living the Book of James.
That brings up another point, Michael. Is the species that's fit for your family. This is
absolutely.
Not dead bird, nobody
Right.
else fools with it. The entire family needs to be on board and needs to be aware that they're going to interact with it, they're going to help take care of it, and you can't just have one person take care of it.
Gotcha.
It needs to be a family.
Now, she
agreement.
doesn't seem to be fazed by any other pets.
No.
His dog looked like she was going to try to fetch her up. That we had to drink
There's a story behind that. So,
vultures.
so
It's a bird dog.
on the back of the property over here, there's an old tree that fell over, and we left it because vultures perch on it, and they like to go and hang out in the pig pen too. Well, my dog and the neighbor's dog that lives here, it's their goal in life to catch a vulture, and so they will chase these things through the air. They chase them, they watch them, they run around, and if one of them lands on the ground,
blew it.
we found one dead in the woods. So I'm figuring my neighbor's dog caught one. And so they're after these vultures every time they're in the yard. So as soon as I saw the bird was here, I said, all right, put the dogs up. My neighbor's dog's locked in my garage until, we're done with her. And God forbid, the dog's trying to do anything.
Well, that has yet to happen on the Jungle Room
I
set.
have a feeling that she in particular would be much more hard to take down than a vulture. Even though a vulture's larger, I mean, that beak is probably going to bite a dog's nose off in a heartbeat.
But they interact well.
Dogs know also.
We don't want to find out.
You don't. And that's another thing to consider if you're thinking about getting
what
a
other
pet.
pets in the home?
What other pets do you have?
So if you hunt pheasant and you have a German Shorthair Pointer, probably not a good idea.
Probably
might
the
need to
best.
rethink. Yeah, might need a tortoise. Or
Right.
something,
Well, she's definitely perfect for your home, and you're so wonderful to share her with us today. We absolutely love her. Made my day again.
Does she get back on your Facebook page?
She'll be back on the Facebook page. Absolutely. And by the way, I take good pictures with her. She brings out the beauty of it.
I really like the fact that y'all painted this to match her eyes.
We did. Pretty girl. Pretty girl. Can I have one goodbye, pretty girl? Hi, pretty girl.
And so these, they see in full color.
Yes.
They're not like dogs colorblind.
No.
And so color has a lot to do with their interactions in the wild and finding other mates, because there are other macaws that live in their area, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and usually they don't cross.
Okay.
The hyacinths only stay with the hyacinths, and the green ones only with the green ones and stuff. Occasionally we run into something rare.
Is it just a sheer territorial kind of thing to where they would be aggressive towards each other in the wild? Or?
No.
We didn't do
not
breeding,
really.
did we? Did they? How do they reproduce? They
Eggs.
You want?
but they do eggs, and the eggs are fertilized.
They do.
Okay.
They do. This is.
It's a lockup.
Well, listen, I had a chameleon, and that was very traumatizing for me watching Eleanor breed.
One of the reasons this particular species
She'll walk
is
under me.
so expensive,
Like sister
they
tattoos.
are one of the most difficult
To breed.
Such a huge percentage of breeders will set up and for years never have anything but fertile eggs, infertile eggs. Infertile eggs.
Then when you do have young birds, you have to hand feed them multiple times a day for a long time, right? For the first year or so?
That's another thing I slightly disagree with.
Okay.
I'm a very pro person on natural parenting with birds. I think this hand feeding thing has made a lot of crazy birds. And when they grow up, become sexually mature, and they don't know they're birds.
It's kind of conflicting with their natural instincts,
Very
right?
much so, very much so. And so I'm into co-parenting.
Yeah.
Meaning if you have a pair of birds and they produce eggs and they produce the babies, let them do it. Let them do it. Let them feed.
Gotcha.
Let them teach the birds that they're birds. You can always go in to the nest box, pick them up, play with them, do your thing, put them back in the nest box.
How long does it take for the parents to rear a healthy young bird?
These are almost a year.
That's what I was thinking.
A
it was
year
about a year.
of feeding.
So if
That's a
someone
commitment
were
if you go,
to,
you baby, yeah.
if
Very
someone
much so.
were to take the place of that practice and do it by hand, that's also a year or more, right?
Yeah, it's a. People think they can go in and, oh, here's a baby macaw. It's only 6 weeks old. I'll take it and I'll hand feed it and it will love me. And that's the bonding.
mom.
It does not have to be hand fed by you to bond to you.
Yeah.
That is straight up. People do not need a baby to bond with.
Okay.
Let the breeder do it. Let the breeder, if they're going to hand feed that thing, let the breeder take the risk. So much can happen during the hand feeding process.
Just like so many other animals that we talk about on the show, they've handled it just fine on their own well before people got involved.
Absolutely.
Right? And so you have to trust them that they know how to do it.
Exactly.
Now, you know she knows how to high-five.
Well, she high fours.
High fours. I should say high fours.
Come on.
Can we get her to high four for
Probably not right now with everything going on.
You don't think?
Yeah.
Can you high four? High four?
No, I'd rather eat four.
Oh, you'd rather eat another nut. Or we could just do, we got a tortoise next on the show. Tortoise next on the show.
Tortoise.
Can you say goodbye to the camera? Pretty girl, say goodbye to the camera. You did amazing. You're so beautiful. I love you. I don't have any nuts for you, though.
Oh, nuts.
No, nuts. Can you give me high five? High four? Want to do high four? Show them high four. Can you do high four? Do high four. Show them how you do it.
That's a little bit unstable.
You know what we'll do? We'll get a V-roll of you doing it and insert it. How's that? Well, thank you, Deborah, for the macaw.
Thank you so much.
Greetings, moms and dads, boys and girls, fans of the Jungle Room. We sure appreciate you watching today. Don't forget, look down right now on YouTube. You can hit subscribe. Do it. The more that subscribe and the more that you share and we grow, the longer we will be. Thanks for watching. And now, back to the Jungle Room. Taking a break from the Tiki Hut, we're poolside with Deborah and Pretty Girl. Pretty Girl's here. Let's talk about the Pet Expo because, you know, for a lot of the things we were talking about, breeders and my gosh, seminars and experts. The Pet Expo is where I think how we all originally met.
It is. We have a great club here in town, Nashville Exotic Pet Club, and twice a year we do a fundraiser called the Nashville Exotic Pet Expo. But we are planning on October 3rd and 4th at the fairgrounds. It's huge. We have a lot of educational opportunities there with some breeders, some adoption people, all sorts of different things for you to come and learn. We have supplies, animals, everything you need.
It is one of the great treasures for a family. I can't remember what the price is. $2. The whole family, we go for $10 and we spend all day and we never, you know, chinchillas, iguanas, the hairless cats, the dwarf hairless cat. I mean, just everything you can imagine.
So much.
And that's where we got Max, our axolotl. And in fact, one of the foremost authorities on axolotls is always there. And he does a teaching seminar, and we were able to buy Max when he was a little baby. And he is a treasured member of our family. It is literally one of my, we live, well, you know our family's crazy, but we live for that event twice a year. And if you all have never, if you like this show, oh my gosh, this is your convention. This is your experience.
This is an opportunity.
But I'm so proud of how the seminars have developed.
Yes.
They're very, very informative
Yes.
in teaching. So we encourage you guys to go in right now, October, and you'll see the dates right here on the screen. Also, when we were talking about macaws and birds and African greys or even cockatiels and parrots, one of the things is, what do you do when you go on vacation?
That's another thing you need to plan on, is because your neighbor that normally watches Fifi is not going to know what to do with something like this.
Pretty Girl.
And so you've got to make sure you have a boarding facility or a vet or a neighbor that's been trained or something to be able to watch this.
Well, mine would be at your house, so tell us about your business.
I do exotic pet boarding. I was a zookeeper for 25 years, so I've had experience in everything from elephants to lions. And I board anything but dogs and cats. I don't do dogs and cats, and have done it for over 30 years.
So, and you will also see that information and a link to her website right here on the screen. You know, we need to get your vision up a little bit and do like a, why couldn't we have a dude ranch with just exotic pets? Wouldn't that be amazing? Like a bed and breakfast, great place for kids to go for a weekend.
An exotic cafe where you come in and...
Oh man, and she's sitting by the table. Pretty Girl serving up some...
Oh, she would love it.
Pretty Girl be making an omelet. Wouldn't that be neat? Anyway, so for those of you with exotic pets, anything but dogs and cats, and you need pet sitting, see this number right here. And give Deb a call, and we appreciate you bringing Pretty Girl here all day. This has been a blast. So
you know she's your favorite.
I can tell, right? Don't you like me best? You can say it.